Hi, my name is Majola,
I'm Luis.
I'm Darren.
And I'm David.
and we are Reach. Reach is an application, a social platform for positive, intimate, and intentional social connection. For many of us, 2020 was a year of loneliness. As Melinda Gates said, the COVID-19 pandemic has magnified every existing inequality in our society. And among those inequalities include mental health treatment and access. Over 15 million Americans suffer from social anxiety and depression, and they have been hidden among us, forced to carry the overwhelming burden of isolation, loneliness, and grief brought about by the pandemic and by themselves. In a journal titled Mental Health, Substance Use, and Suicidal Ideation During the COVID-19 Pandemic, research found that 1 in 4 people aged 18 to 24 seriously considered suicide in June of 2020. And the same age group reported the highest levels of anxiety and depression. Now that social distancing and virtual connection have become the norm, many have turned to social platforms and tools to initiate these social connections. But sadly, these tools don't work as they should. They only function as a reminder of the physical connection we once had and is now lost, right? A good quote that someone told me is, "What is Zoom but another communal experience of intense loneliness?" Virtual social tools and platforms only heighten the effects of isolation, anxiety, and depression for people who suffer from social anxiety and depression, right? Social media platforms fail to provide meaningful interactions, mainly because they are not designed for this meaningful interaction. This is a huge problem. Um, Next slide, please. But while researching this problem, we observed a few things about these group of people or people who suffer social anxiety and depression that gave us some insights into our solution. Right? We've researched how people with social anxiety and depression use social tools and platforms to observe these insights. Right? So we found that people with social anxiety disorder were more likely to use social media passively. Right? So just scrolling through, looking at profiles, reading comments, and they were actually less likely to engage in actual content production, so posting, commenting, and stuff of that nature. Research also shows that this passive use of social media only worsens the effects of social media and or social anxiety and depression, right? So it's just negative loop, right? They have social anxiety and it's only being worsened by social media. And we also saw that people with social anxiety avoid negative interactions on social media at all costs. They stay away from it. Research on people who suffer from SAD saw that their media accounts gravitated towards loops that will just give them like positive feedback. They were trying to comfort themselves to stay away from the toxicity and negativity that you cannot avoid on social media platforms. Next slide, please. I'm going to pass it on to Darren to talk about our solutions, which were driven by these insights.
Hi. So as we mentioned, building off of the key insights, we found what was important to have for our users. So first of all, we wanted to make sure we had a close, intimate environment, which initiated intentional friendships. As we mentioned before, traditional social media doesn't provide this. It has this set environment which encourages people to post content and leads to endless feeds where people scroll through the content of friends they've never even really talked to. We in addition wanted our app to also provide metrics which could track your friend's well-being. This way, your friends could get notifications if you had drops in any metrics, which might indicate that you had some decline in your overall well-being. Next slide, please. This is why we designed Reach. Reach is a platform aimed at people who have social anxiety and feel that the current social platforms do not fit them. Reach is designed to help level the playing field, taking away the burdens which current social platforms have and open up the field so that people with social anxiety, depression, and other social symptoms can engage in meaningful, intimate relationships, which actually boost their overall well-being instead of detrimenting it. Now I'm going to pass it off to Lewis.
Actually, David is going to talk more about features.
So, given these insights, we decided upon a set of features that would really create this intimate environment for us and for people with social anxiety. We first decided on a novel UI designed for maintaining maintaining your well-being and maintaining close friendships. We decided to implement sending compliment messages to your closest friends. Video calling is also very important in keeping intimate connections from an online base. And we also provide daily wellness check-ins for our users.
Now I'll be walking through a little bit of a demo of what we've built. So this is Reach, and we've made it designed with all of the key insights in mind. I will just be logging in as myself. And here we can see the very minimal and straight to the point design of this social application. We have myself and all of the friends that I have currently entrusted with me. This makes it so that whenever you choose to actually invite a friend, you know that they will be your support network, shifting the burden from you reaching out to your friends and more of your friends reaching out to you whenever you might need it. The first thing we've built is this wellness metric daily check-in, where it's very frictionless, where you can just click an emoji depending on how you feel today, ranging from this 5 stages. This is something that we built as a prototype, but eventually would add text and other methods of monitoring for our wellness metrics. This would play hand in hand also with something for you to do day to day that might also be proven to reduce your social anxiety. For now, when you click, you can kind of log your own daily wellness metric into our MongoDB database that we have deployed. Next, we have a friend card, which is housed in this list of friends that you have previously invited and will show up in your daily feed. These are people that, again, you entrust with very deliberate conversations and know that they hold you close in your social circles. So the 2 functionalities that we thought were the most important were reducing friction in terms of calling and reaching out. And so if I were to reach out to Paul here, for example, I could send a compliment and show up in his own notifications. I could also just call him straight away and begin a call straight ahead. And as you can see, we can load up a new call instance using WebRTC and the socket through a web socket in order to begin conversation and begin reducing that idea of social anxiety and loneliness that we've all suffered, especially through this past year. Now, moving on, we do have the messages pane where compliments will be showing up. This is meant to be a way of you to keep track of everything that everyone's been telling you and just kind of reaffirming the fact that you have friends and support networks out there that you can lean on whenever. This is something that's also dynamically populated by our Mongo database and will be dynamically populated through the lifetime of the application. Going back to the last view that we've implemented, which is a profile view, this is where you might be able to invite friends to very deliberately form a part of your social circle, but also deal with things like your wellness tips and notification settings for whenever you actually receive a call or a compliment. This is assuming that you're being very deliberate with the purpose of this application. And so calling isn't really a barrier. It's mostly just getting into the call that we're trying to reduce friction for. That's most of the application. And I think David now will talk about next steps.
Yeah, so currently we wanted to, for this hackathon, get a quick prototype out, flush out our ideas and really build the end-to-end system in its entirety. But for our next steps, we really want to transition from web to mobile because we think that the platform is much better suited to mobile, especially so we can track things like steps and screen time and keep track of those key wellness metrics, as well as users feel more comfortable using a mobile app at the current state. Additionally, we can use the metrics we collect from this mobile app to help forecast early signs of isolation. This is a potentially game-changing feature, and we really believe that this will help the current situation of social anxiety. Additionally, we have brainstormed other methods of intimate communication, one of those being sending a song to a user. We believe that this will be really valuable and help increase the connection between your close friends. But that being said, that is Reach. Thank you for listening to our presentation.